everyone, I'm Whitney Adams coming to you from the WSWA TV studio here at the 75th Annual WSWA Convention and Exposition at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. And I'm super excited to be joined today by Louise McGuane of Chapelgate Irish Whiskey. Hello, Louise.
Hi again.
So good to see you again.
You too.
It was such a pleasure getting to know you last year in Orlando, and also to learn about what you're doing with Chapelgate and with the debut of J.J. Corey. You had such a success last year with Brand Battle. I loved your whole story, and I think that's really what captivated the audience and captivated the judges and everyone at the convention. Returning to your family farm in Ireland and resurrecting the lost art of whiskey bonding. So I'd love to catch up, but I think first let's tell viewers a little bit more about the brand in case they don't know. And are you still the only whiskey bonder in the world?
We are still the only Irish whiskey bonder in the world. We still are. So it's a very old business model. Whiskey bonding was really the only way that Irish whiskey was sold for a very long time. The distillers, they didn't spend a lot of time branding and selling direct to consumers. They left it to bonders to do that. And bonders were very often like little mercantile owners. They were grocers. They would have sold everything from port, tea, wine, sherry, and whiskey. And the whiskey, they would just kind of take whatever empty port cask they had lying around their shop, for example. They would bring it to their local distillery, fill it up, and then bring it back to mature and custom blend for their customers. So really old business model. It meant that there was a huge diversity of flavour in Irish whiskey all over the country. Completely died out in the 1930s. The Irish whiskey industry almost collapsed. And the few distilleries that were left decided to cut off the route to market for the bonders and control all the sales themselves. So the practice died out until we brought it back 2 years ago, and we're going strong. We're still the only people bonding whiskey in Ireland at the moment.
That's wonderful. And you talked a lot about how you believe in transparency in whiskey. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, so we don't have a distillery. We'll never have a distillery. I take care of the spirit from sort of the moment it comes off the still. In the case of my new make, I source really good new make spirit. I'm very transparent about the fact that I source it rather than produce it myself. I take great pride in the fact that we kind of shepherd the spirit from the moment it's off the still. We put it into our own casks that we've selected ourselves. We match the right spirit to the right cask, and then we mature it in our own site, in our own bonded warehouse, where we kind of have full control. And I've always been straight up about doing that because it's what consumers are demanding, quite frankly. In the case of the product that we have on the market, that's also sourced whiskey, but it's mature stock that I went out and I purchased in cask. And my job then as a bonder and as a blender is to sort of, find the best mature stock that I can, blend it together and create something unique. And again, do it very transparently.
Yes. And here we have J.J. Corey, your premier debut whiskey,
yes,
which is winning awards, and I've always loved the packaging and branding, and I think that's so on point. And I think because of your background in history and marketing in the global spirits business, I think that really lent itself towards having such a successful debut and product.
Yeah, I think it's been very well received. I got lucky with the packaging. It was the take on the old label, looked very, very similar to this, J.J. Corey's original label from the 1890s. So I got lucky on that, and I just gave it a bit of a modern interpretation. I went very strong on the shamrock. I felt like we're going to own the shamrock. It's not going to be pastiche, it's Irish, we're proud of it. The whiskey, I'm really happy to say, has won several gold medals now in San Francisco and in the Irish Whiskey Awards. It's consistently scoring over 90 points everywhere that matters, like Whiskey Advocate. So the liquid is proving itself, by third-party review, which is very important. And then, the packaging is the thing. You put it out there and you hope people like it, and it's resonating really well.
Well, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'd love to hear about, what it's been like since you were here at WSWA last year, and what the convention really did to further your business and your brand.
Yeah, when we were here last year, we didn't have our full first bottling completed. It really genuinely wasn't completed. We were at a very nascent stage, you know. We had all our liquid, we had samples. So coming out here last year was a very big leap for us. You know, this is the market that I focus on, you know, almost 100%. The reception that we got and the contacts that we made last year were invaluable. You know, we launched last Friday in New York State. We are live in Connecticut, we are live in Tennessee, and those two states are a direct result of the fact that we're live there, and the distributors that are there are contacts that we made last year, like as a direct result. So there's a real correlation between last year's WSWA for us and the fact that now we're live in the market essentially.
That's wonderful. And so for other brands like yourself that are coming here and, you know, with a brand new product, what advice would you give them to really take advantage of their time here at WSWA?
I mean, brand battle for us was fantastic. You know, I would say certainly enter brand battle next year if you're coming next year or the year after. It's really invaluable exposure. It was hugely important for us as well. But I think as well, you know, network. Just, you know the market, know your pricing, know your consumer base. Be ready to answer all the tough questions that distributors are going to ask you if they come up and meet you. There's a huge amount of competition here, so you have to have really good liquid. But when you come here, you must be prepared to have, you know, really in-depth conversations with distributors, you know, around those sort of key elements about your brand, and have those answers and be prepared.
Yeah. So what's next for Chapel Gate?
So next is, you know, we're almost sold out of the first batch now. We're kicking on now into a couple of other states. So we're going to be opening Massachusetts and Rhode Island in a couple of months, and then by the end of the year we're hoping to be live in Illinois, and then next year we'll do Florida, Texas, California. Those are really good Irish whiskey markets. Mm-hmm. We'll then focus on those states. We've deployed a full-time marketing and salesperson here in New York since last year. So we have a person here full-time working the brand. We'll probably add on another person next year who'll be servicing all of those states. But then the next few years for us is to really focus on those states and really start to build out the brand in the on-premise and build and start to sort of push into the right off-premise accounts as well. We have a couple of more SKUs that we're working on, but you know, we need to give the Gale time to sort of get out there and prove itself. So we're not going to rush. We're just going to, you know, get into the right accounts, like keep the profile up in the trade, and just work it. Yeah,
and ride off the success of last year. And,
yes.
And you know, and I love that it's a female-owned business, and you know, I think it's interesting that you're. You know, taking advantage of that, and I don't want to say capitalizing on that, but and reaching out to other, you know, women as consumers. You know, there's kind of an untapped market there, but there's huge potential with women in whiskey and accessing those consumers. And I think that's interesting that you were just meeting with some people in California, and
it's a huge. Women in whiskey it's honestly a bit of a movement within the whiskey world, if I can call it that. Women are, the demographic is changing, we know that for brown spirits anyway, but there are really passionate women now who are really sort of following their path in whiskey, and they're banding together in, you know, female-led and female-focused organizations to taste whiskey, to experience whiskey, to discover it. So we're an all-female company. We're the only all-female Irish whiskey company in existence, and it's almost accidental that it happened that way. But we resonate. You know, our story resonates with women who are interested in whiskey, and of course we can relate to women in you know, we're women, so you know we can relate to women whiskey followers in a different sort of a way. So we will capitalize on that. It's a consumer base that's very important to us, and it's one that we, you know, it's a platform that we intend to use you know, very heavily in the coming years as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you, and I love seeing all of your success. I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching WSWA TV.